then you
We're
can.
going to try to keep it. You want to switch it back? News conference.
How's your flight?
Our flight was good. It's bumpy, the last
You got it?
10 miles when we're coming down. It's still a little nice.
I'm going to turn my mic off so you guys can take down.
Y'all got everything? You ready? Okay. Y'all want to ask questions, or you just wanted to put it out? How do y'all want to do this?
Up to you. If you want to say something first, and then we can ask follow-up questions.
Okay, Rexford Lynn Keel was delivered here to the sheriff's office about 30 minutes ago. He was transported from Tucson, Arizona by private jet to Rocky Mount, and they're transported here for processing to go into the county jail. He will have an arraignment of a first appearance on Tuesday morning.
What has been the conversation? He's going through booking right now, is that correct?
He's in interviews at this time, and then he will go before booking. That process will take 15, 20 minutes. He was booked into the Tucson jail in Tucson, and then he was delivered to us, and he's brought back here. We'll process him into our county jail.
All right, and you said that he's going through the interviewing process right now. Have you been able to poke your head into that interview? What's being said?
I have not. I've
Okay.
left that up to the detectives.
Okay.
Has Keel said anything at all about the allegations against him to you?
He has not. He made no comments about any allegations or anything on the flight back. I flew with him, made no allegations to anything.
What was his demeanor, Sheriff?
Very
When you first saw
calm,
him?
very, just as an average person would be. Very quiet.
I had a chance to go through the warrants, and it shows that there were numerous weapons that were seized from the home in Nashville. Do you think that any of those weapons were possibly tied to this alleged murder?
I don't think the murder resulted from gunfire. Obviously, the pathologist has those reports, but I didn't see any, and neither has any of my detectives alluded to the fact that anything was related to gunfire.
What about the swords or knives that were seized from the home?
Obviously, something like that could be. That's all investigation now and running tests. It's still an open investigation, and we're in the process of trying to sort all that out at this time.
So as of now, you're not able to say or confirm how Diana Keel died?
That is exactly right. It's still open investigation, and all the reports back from the pathologists have not been obtained by us, and we're just really in the preliminary stages of it.
Didn't you say earlier she was stabbed?
She was.
Okay. Is there any update on the investigation into Keel's first wife's death?
We have received the first reports that were given to the sheriff's office here back in 2006, I think it is. We've looked at those. I've been in communications with the pathologist at that time, and that's about as far as we've got. What we're trying to do is finish up one investigation before we embark on another.
Have you been in touch with Arizona officials about exactly the details of how everything unfolded when he was apprehended? How did that go?
I have. I've watched the video of the Arizona State Troopers. Remarkable job what these guys did from the time they got the tip. 18 minutes later, one of the sergeants on patrol, highway patrol, intercepted him and began following him. At that time, he called in a few more units, and they did a lane block or a lane closure, and a vehicle stop was conducted. And at that time, he was taken out and arrested and taken into Tucson.
Tell us about what exactly goes into the interviewing process that he is, as you just mentioned, that's happening right now. What exactly are they asking? What are they looking for? What are they sort of trying to get to the bottom of at this point?
Obviously, that's interview techniques that each detective have strengths and weaknesses on. Our investigators in this matter are obviously trying to get to the bottom of what happened.
Where do you think Diana was killed? Do you think she was killed in her home or somewhere else, in a vehicle?
That's still under investigation at this time.
Was there a key piece of evidence in the investigation that made you decide that Lynn Keel was the one that killed Diana?
There is a key piece of evidence that I do not want to elaborate on at this time.
Do you think he got help to escape or allegedly commit these crimes?
I do not. I think he was a lone occupant.
You flew to Tucson, Arizona yourself. Why was it important for you to bring Lynn Keel back to Nash County personally?
Because at the end of the day, the sheriff's office is responsible for bringing this man back to justice. The people of Nash County have put me in a position to take care of the safety of the people of Nash County, and that's what I do.
What are you feeling right now?
I feel like we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We have got a killer off the streets, which is a good thing, but we've still got a lot of investigations to go into this.
Do you feel relieved now that Keel is back in Nash County in your custody?
I feel relieved when the Arizona Highway Patrol told us that he was in custody, because at that time, I knew that any carnage wouldn't happen out west or wherever he was going to. What a remarkable job. I want to add again what they did. 18 minutes, and a whole team of Arizona troopers put their life at risk on a Sunday morning when most people are going to church and doing whatever to take a killer off the streets. I just want to commend Arizona.
Have you spoken to Diana Keel's family in the last 24 hours?
I have not.
Are you confident that your case is a strong one when you go forward in court?
I'm very confident.
How soon would a grand jury be convening, and would you like to get the case to the grand jury as soon as possible, or do you want to be deliberative and make sure you have every I dotted, every T crossed before you do it?
That's left up to the district attorney, but before we ever go swear out warrants on somebody for first degree murder, that is a very serious charge. We're confident in the job that these detectives do. I feel very confident in the case that they built, and we would never ever go before the magistrate and get a warrant for somebody that we were too unsure.
The warrants say that the truck that he was driving in Arizona was his father's vehicle. Do we know how he got a hold of it? Was his father aware that that was his truck that he was driving?
Yes, some clarity on that is he was not under arrest. He was free to go anywhere he wanted to, free to come and go. He was living with his dad and his mom because his house had been seized by a court order for searching. Both of his vehicles were seized. He did not have access to his vehicles there. His mom and dad provided him with the pickup truck, and that's when he left and went west.
Do we know what
Was
the
he
motive-
armed? Was he armed when he was arrested?
He was not.
Is the motive still under investigation?
It is.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ready to go to trial, could you put, or kind of give us an idea, I know you mentioned preliminary, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ready to go to trial, where are you right now numerically in the case?
That would be left totally up to the district attorney. We present him the evidence, and he's the one that determines when he's ready to go to trial.
I understand that the body was found with a wedding ring. Is there any kind of indication of why that might be? Was that some kind of symbol, or could that represent anything?
I'm not clear on that. I don't know if she wore a wedding band every day, or if she wore it sometimes or never wore it. But I do know that she did have a wedding band.
One of the warrants also mentioned that you found 2 pages of Diana Keel's daughter Laura from her diary in one of his cars. Any significance to that? It seems strange.
We seized a lot of stuff, obviously, in search warrants, and the reason is because through interviews and through the public, things come about, and we keep that stuff. So if it is valid to the case, then we have it.
Anything you can tell us about what those pages said?
I would rather not elaborate on that at this time.
What do we know about his trip, as far as did he stop anywhere, any gas stations on his way to Arizona?
He told me that he stopped periodically. He drove 65 miles an hour the whole way, and it was 3 days of driving.
He told you that
He did.
directly,
He did.
just now?
Well, earlier today.
Last week you mentioned that there had been a domestic issue between Diana and Lynn in the past. Have you gotten more information about that, or some of their problems, marital problems?
Those obviously are coming from the public friends of Diana, and they're being taken at this time. I've heard that, and I know that investigators have obviously been out and talked to nurses that work with her and friends, so we have received that information.
There's obviously a lot of questions about his first wife and her death, the circumstances surrounding her death. Any plans, or what does the timeline look like to meet with the district attorney to discuss possibly opening the case, reopening that case? What does that look like at this point?
We're going to interview the pathologist, and we're going to look at it. Our detectives here are going to look at that, and then we will go before the district attorney and make a decision from there.
So it is possible that Lynn Keel could be facing additional charges.
Definitely.
You said it was medication in the truck. Can you tell us what kind?
I think he had had foot surgery and he had diabetes, maybe diabetic medicine. I don't know if he's still on that medication. It could have been old medication, it could have been a friend's medication. I can't elaborate on that.
Did
Could
someone
have been
see,
family. Go ahead.
did someone see him drop Diana's body off?
They did not. Or if they did, I don't know it. And if you have that information, I wish somebody would come forward.
So the entire time you were on the flight, Lynn Keel didn't say a word to you?
Well, he talked about the trip and things of that nature, nothing about the case.
Did you know him before this case?
I did.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
He worked at a gun store here. He was a machinist. He was a gunsmith, and I knew him through that.
Is it surprising to hear these allegations?
Sure it is. Anytime you have a citizen that commits first-degree murder, it's very surprising. And especially as quiet as he was, I never knew it. I didn't know him in depth as far as the first wife or anything of that nature, but I did know him.
Do you
I
find
didn't know
his,
his family background.
do you find his behavior strange at all? Just the lack of emotion?
I would be probably a little bit more surprised knowing that this has come about and what he's been through. But then obviously he's drove for 3 straight days, 20 hours a day. I guess you could have that type of experience about yourself then. But he's a very calm state person.
What did he say the end game was for him? Where was he trying to end up? What was the plan beyond just driving?
He was going further west.
And then what?
I didn't get into all that.
How are his kids doing right now?
His kids, one of the kids is obviously in college down that we talked about earlier, University of North Carolina, Wilmington. One kid is staying with the mother and father, but obviously they're shaking. I mean, you got to look at these kids, had a mother one day, now the mother's gone. They had a father in the home one day, and now the father's being incarcerated in Nash County Jail. It's heartbreaking.
What can we or the community do to help you out?
If you know something significant about this case, reach out to us and tell us. We solve cases every day through the help of the media, and I want to thank y'all for covering this case. The media attention on this case is what brought closure to it.
And obviously it's up to the DA, but do you think that this will be a death penalty case?
You'll have to speak to him. It's a first-degree murder charge. Obviously, that's left up to our district attorney. Y'all good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.